What type of attention are you creating to yourself? You need to be conscious about the kind of attention you create, because like I said, the type of energy you give out there might likely be what you attract back to yourself. So if you are creating a negative vibe, most likely you have negative returns. If you learn how to create attention to yourself, I am telling you that you have created wealth. But until yourself you are able to pay attention, good attention for that matter, you might not be able to create any. No matter how beautiful whatever you do or your product or services is, if people don't know about it, people's attention are not there, it is zero. You are never going to be able to do anything with it. Whatever product you are providing is for people, and people need to be aware. People need to know. And one of the easiest way you can make it known to people is by creating an attention. Hello wonderful people, how are you doing today? Today I'm out here and I want to be talking about attention. Of course you need to pay attention, because today I want to be telling you how attention is equal to money, because a lot of us don't understand the power of attention. And today I'm going to be guiding you through this process of how to convert your attention into money. A lot of money, a lot of wealth is waiting for you, only if you know how to convert that attention you have into money. So many times I've told people that you are looking for money and you want to know where money is. And I am telling you a lot of ways that you don't need capital to start business. Part of what you need today is what we are talking about, which is attention. So you might want to listen to this video to the end of it, so you know how you can convert your attention into money. Just like I told you in the past too, I love walking around trying to try different things so that I know what works for me. And that's why you are seeing me outside my house today, just around the surrounding of my environment. Now today is the 24th of our live video session. If you are watching me for the first time, we've said we're going to be doing this for 1,000 days, right? Today is just day 25 of our live video challenge. So let's go straight forward to attention. Now I'm going to be discussing this under two scenarios. Number one is what is attention to start with? And number two is how do you actually use your own attention? What do you pay attention to, right? And perhaps what pays attention to you? This is even more important. So let's start by talking about what is actually attention. Well, in my own words, or in my own understanding, is that particular thing that you are actually after. Is that particular thing that have the dominant thought of your mind, that have your, your focus, right? Whatever it is that you're always thinking about, that you are trying to always observe, or perhaps become very dominant in your heart, please observe the word focus is actually taking your attention. I don't know if you get. So if you understand what attention means is, now what do you actually pay attention to? I don't know if you are following. What do you actually pay your attention to? What do you usually focus on? This is very important. If you look at your life generally, you find out that most of the things you always pay your attention to happens to be what becomes your reality. Thank you for joining, Mr. Idris. Thank you for joining. I think I saw somebody, Navdak. I don't know if you are still here with us. Thank you for joining. So today we are talking about attention, and it's very important for you to know the power of attention and how you can use it. Now to start with, I like to make you understand that whatever it is that you are always focused on, paying that your attention to, in most cases happens to be the reality of your life in the future. Because let me give you an example how paying attention to certain things can become dominant and even part of your life, that can form your habits and even possibly become your destiny. In the past, for example, I love to pay attention to too much news watching some kind of unnecessary movies, even series, or let me say what we call all these season films, right? So, and I found out that in paying attention to those kind of things, it began to take the chunk part of my life, in the sense that I'm not usually productive, and it happens that most of the things I watch there that cannot actually help me, unconsciously I began to even live that kind of lifestyle. If you observe, for example, people that watch this particular channel called Z World, for example, that's Z World, this Indian channel, they happens to care so much about anything love, feelings, and all of that. I don't know if you get. Now that affects them in a lot of ways, because there are certain things that you watch there that you think is a reality, which if you want to bring it to reality, it might not be able to play out. Now, there are so many movies that you might be watching, there's so many things you are paying your attention to that is actually even detrimental to you. There are certain lifestyle. Take for example, we have some people that pay too much attention to maybe you like to watch nude films, or kind of anything you see that is open, woman, or maybe in the other round, man. You just pay attention. That's what you see. That's what you keep focusing your attention on always. You find out that with time, it corrupts your mindset. I don't know if you get. If you live around the environment where people they don't dress well, you find out that everybody is half naked. So with time, do you know what might happen? It will normalize it and make you feel like it's normal to expose your body. And in most cases, because those are the things, and let me shock you, that if you don't pay attention to it, even when it's happening right before your eye, you might not see it. That's the uniqueness of what? Your attention. And that's why your attention should be guided. And that's the only way, until you can guide that attention to that particular thing you need to be able to focus on it, then it might affect you. And if you are not even paying attention at all, then that is even worse. I don't know if you understand, because at the end of the day, you have really nothing. You have nothing. So because it's what you pay attention to at the end of the day, like I said from the beginning of this class, becomes part of you, becomes your habit, your daily routines, what you do. And that's why I tell people, even when you complain too much about what is happening, for example, in my country, Nigeria, you complain too much about the situation, you always like to read news to know what happened next, or what Tinubu is doing as a president, Mr. President, or not doing. So when you pay too much attention to these things, it becomes part of you in such a way that it can only make you feel pained. And you always feel like things are never gonna be okay, because you sit down analyzing these things time and time again, which is not actually healthy to you. Now, the second part of this presentation is the one that will make you learn how to use your attention, and also how to make other people have attention on you in such a way that it is productive for you. For me to explain this carefully, I want to make use of 2 to 3 persons I've been seeing online. By the way, before I do that, you see this particular online stuff you are seeing is a space where nobody stop you from actually drawing attention to yourself in a lot of ways. Do you understand? Even though some people even use it negatively to draw that attention, but whatever it is, you must learn how to use the power, the influence of this media to draw attention to yourself, and that will amount to wealth. Let me make an example with some people. People like what do we call him? This very dark man. If you look at his life very well, you find out that he started somewhere, but he had a particular way of creating attention, and what he do specifically is trying to follow up, to dig or to fight for those who cannot fight for themselves on this media. And with that, by little, he began to create attention to himself, and in a lot of ways he was able to maintain that energy, because people that he always go after, he will always win because he knows his game. Now, it's not all about creating attention, but what are you creating attention about? Do you understand? You know, what exactly are you creating? What type of attention are you creating to yourself? You need to be conscious about the kind of attention you create, because like I said, the type of energy you give out there might likely be what you attract back to yourself. So if you are creating a negative vibe, most likely you have negative returns. I don't know if you understand. Now look at people like this guy Pella of a guy. You know what he does is just to speak English in some kind of Yoruba style, you know, and he happens to have created a lot of attention on the media space, which you too can do. And even as I speak, there are so many things you can create attention on that probably you are not even aware of. So you can start to think. Look at Pella, for example, and Jadrolita, the AI lady that came and was behaving like an AI, speaking like an AI. If you look at the two of them now, they've created a chunk of attention to themselves. And do you know, guess what? Once you can draw attention to yourself, you have money thrown onto you, because attention don't just come. Your politicians, for example, just pick some few examples around you that you know that were able to draw attention to themselves. Most of these people, let me tell you that they don't have a particular product they sell. They don't have a particular service they offer. Perhaps you can even manage to call it service at the end of the day, but they have massive wealth that are thrown onto them. Okay, let me give you another example on this media. This guy that was actually selling fish pie. This fish pie guy, I don't know if you've seen him. Recently I saw him trying to even create another form of attention, that he spent about 2 million on a lady that just danced with him. This was the person that was selling fish pie. I don't know if you get, but he sell it in such a way that he was screening around the local market where he sell these things, such a way that he has created so much attention to himself. And guess what happened? People began to look for him. Business owners began to look for him, because once you're able to create that attention to yourself and people recognize you, most other people also want to be identified with you. I don't know if you get. And there are so many ways, even still unknown to people, that you can still use to create attention to yourself on this media space. But probably you are not thinking, and you think it's not even possible. And I've given you quite a few examples for you to understand that these things are possible. Sorry, my hands, I'm tired already. So sorry, I love holding it with this hand. So I don't know if you understand, but these things are possible if you learn how to create attention to yourself. I am telling you that you have created wealth. But until yourself you are able to pay attention, good attention for that matter, you might not be able to create any. Are you following? These things are practical, and you can also do it. You just need to know your game and begin to play it. So I have one more example. By the way, that Pella guy I talked about, if you notice, recently they did a video with Tiwa Savage, and just within few, it's even up to an hour or so that they did the video, they have thousands of live viewers. And like I heard Tiwa Savage say that, in her words, that over, I think they were able to get not less than 120 something million from that live session as gifts from people. I don't know if you are following these things. And also she even promised that it's one of the best sessions she have had online live. So, and that she promised to even build a house for Pella. If you follow media, you understand some of these things I'm talking about. The most important thing is, what do you do? Even at your own level, you might not even come online, but what are you doing to create attention to yourself? What exactly are you doing to be able to have attention to yourself? Because no matter how beautiful what you do is, if people don't know about it, listen to this, no matter how beautiful whatever you do or your product or services is, if people don't know about it, people's attention are not there, it is zero. You are never going to be able to do anything with it, because whatever service or whatever product you are providing is for people, and people need to be aware. People need to know. And one of the easiest way you can make it known to people is by creating an attention. I've shown you some quite few number of people, big companies. Do you know, sometimes, like I said, I want to be teaching you some of the things you can start your life with, some of the things you can start business with, not necessarily money. If you can create attention to yourself, that fish pie seller guy is now a big boy. He might probably be dealing with millions now. Somebody that was selling fish pie, you can see. For you, you might just be thinking that it's the grace of God, it's his luck. No, you have the same attention, and you can also make use of it to create something like that, and people will have money thrown at it. That's the reality. So the next time you think about what can you use to start a business, think about attention. You can create attention to yourself. You probably are not even paying attention. You see, for most people, we think this kind of video is a waste of time now, but the same person will spend a lot of time watching something that is not beneficial. I don't want to mention, but you know that thing that you are watching that is not beneficial to your life. So instead, why don't you start paying attention to things that can pay you attention? I don't know if you are following. By the way, if you are enjoying our session, please kindly comment, like, share with others as much as possible. We are going to be doing this for 1,000 days. Today we are talking about attention, and I am telling you that if you don't have money, you can create attention, especially when you are able to pay attention to some certain things that could draw you meaningful, positive, and valuable attention that is worth money. For once you are able to draw people's attention to yourself, I am telling you that they will have money thrown at you just like that, with ease, legitimately. So if you enjoyed this session today, help me to share, like, and also comment. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.